that's a cheat code, so to speak. Like when you understand the fact that like, you have competition out there that are other producers and other things that are happening, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there right now who do what we do
Sure.
and work with the same genres. And some of them are super great.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are not so super great.
Yep.
But both of them are going to get projects that you wish you had.
Sure.
And the thing about it though, is like when you have a sort of posture and a mindset of like, hey, I'm going to be the dude that sort of helps connect the dots. I think it pays dividends in the end when 100%. You have that mindset of how to approach what we do for a living. So,
I have a really good example of this working out in my favor. So there's a band called Heirloom from North Carolina. Now they worked with Howard Benson recently on a record, big rock producer, Breaking Benjamin, all that. Whenever they were first starting out, I love those people to death. They are awesome. They were a young band and they were pretty good. They were going to a studio and they were getting very okay stuff. I don't want to be mean. It was, it's like it was fine. It was passable, but they were also, they had been a band for like 2 months. Right. I don't know if I even rag the studio on that or if I rag the band on just not knowing what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Questionable, but I'm friends with two of them, Nolan, their vocalist, and Kevin, their guitar player, and both of them are like primary songwriters in the band. And I was in a band, or am in a band called Harm. It's like a post-hardcore band also from North Carolina. Kind of sounds like Under Oath, but with a female singer.
Right.
And we were playing a show with them in Columbia. I was friends with them, and I saw that their drummer had Nikki had a tank top on of the band The Ghost Inside, very popular hardcore band. Well, I know the guitarist for The Ghost Inside. He's my really great friend, Chris. So I call Chris and I go, yo, dude, this band's a big fan of you. I know he was like doing record production at the time. They weren't back on the road yet. It's a very complicated story. But he was producing records out of his house in Baltimore or Frederick, technically. And I called him. He was like, yeah, dude, send me a video. Shot a video of them playing live. And he was like, yeah, dude, this band sounds really cool. They're super young. I checked out their stuff. He was like, connect me with them. And I was like, awesome. Sounds good. Went to the band afterwards. I was like, hey, shot your stuff over to my buddy Chris of The Ghost Inside. He says, you guys were sick. Would you want me to connect you to? He's trying to produce some bands and take some bands under his wing. He's like, would you want to work with him? Yeah. And they were like, heck yeah. 100%. I'm not getting any of the work on this at this point, right? Zero of the work. Connect them. Chris goes, hey, dude, thanks so much. They signed on for a 5-song EP. Like I think it was 7 actually. 7-song EP. I was like, that's sick.
Yep.
Do you want to do post-production? Because I do a lot of post-production. So like synth, strings, production drums, effects, things like that. Yeah. So at the time, especially then, Chris had hired me to do a couple things for The Ghost Inside and for his other band, Texas in July. And I killed it for them. And he and I had, really connected really hard on that. And he was like, dude, this band could definitely use your touch. And I was like, great. He was like, would you want to co-produce the record with me? Come up, stay with the band. I was like, yeah, dude, that sounds like so fun.
No way, not doing that, right?
Yeah. I had to drive all the way to Frederick, which was like an 8.5-hour drive, but it was fun. It was a fun time. Nice. So drove all the way up there, stayed with them for a couple weeks, mid-pandemic, and very dangerous. Nice. So that was fun. But we knocked out the record. It was super cool. And then we get back. They're going through the editing process and doing all the stuff. He's getting all the mixes like prepped, and he gets sick, like really bad sick, like so sick he thought he was going to lose his hearing in his right ear. Sick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really bad. And he calls me. He was like, dude, they were prepping for a show in California. And he was like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mix this record.
Crazy.
And he said, do you want to mix it? And I was like, sure, dude. I was like, are you sure? He was like, I was like, you got all of these other friends who you're friends with who could potentially mix this record. He's like, yeah, but you were there for the co-production. You know what they're going for. I trust you to handle this.
Yeah.
I'll just have them pay you my mix rate instead.
Right.
And I was like, all right, sounds great. And so I mixed that whole record, got that credit. That record ended up being the thing that launched them into getting a call from LA from Howard to work with them. And like,
Nice.
I was the reason that connection happened to Howard.
Yeah.
All because I said, hey, this band's really good. I like them. I have a friend who is in the band that they like, and I want to connect them.
Yeah.
Led me to that band has now tree branched into 12 different projects over the last like 2 or 3 years from me working with that one band.
Shout out to band t-shirts and drummers wearing band t-shirts.
I know, man.
That's the whole reason for the whole story. Right?
Exactly.
So,
no, but it's like, it's a long, complicated story to say, I saw an opportunity to connect a friend with a really cool band.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me making money or getting work at all.
Yep.
Led to me getting the entire project over an unfortunate circumstance. But then since then, I've worked with Chris because he knows and loves me and know I can handle projects.
Right. Yeah.
So he and I co-produce a band called Hostile Array, and they've done really big things. And he's all gotten me to do post-production on a ton of other like bigger metalcore bands that he's worked with. So like it's turned into a really cool relationship because I just fostered the relationship, you know, inherently to begin with.
Sure. And that's a part of this industry that I think is a valid thing that, you know, you got to be able to, you have to be able to talk to people and network and do the things that don't seem obvious maybe.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like that's something that probably is not obvious to most people, but like networking with people and like connecting dots when maybe they didn't know they needed to be connected.
Yeah.
Those kind of things are like, that's a super good point to make.